All right, welcome to a new episode of the You Got the Ron Dude podcast. I'm your host, Ron Jam, and thank you very much for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. You can stream this episode for free on YouTube and on SoundCloud, where you can also download it for free. Going to be reviewing John Wick 3 Parabellum, or John Wick Chapter 3. And if you haven't already, check out my reviews for the first two movies. And so far, this one is my favorite overall, and I'll be talking about why. And like always, my notes are all over the place. It does contain spoilers, but there's a lot of good stuff in this one. I mean, just in the beginning, the knife fights, John Wick on a horse, fighting that giant in that library. I actually wrote this down. Oh yeah, here we go. Just like the sumo guy in 2. It's like, always go, give him a kick in the nuts. Your opponents can be big, strong, intimidating, but that's one thing you can't work out, am I right? And still, I think 2 has my favorite opening so far, but I'm going to watch 4 after recording this review. So we will see. Halle Berry, I think I've seen almost all of her work, and her as Sophia, I think this is her best performance. Not necessarily best role, but for me, probably my favorite. I don't know why, because when Swordfish came out, I would watch out like once a year in that. And last time I watched it, I think last year or something, I couldn't get through it because she kept saying, Stanley's name. You ready to go, Stanley? Hope you're ready, Stanley. Let's do this, Stanley. And I'm like, are you in sales? Stop saying his name. It just started bothering me. Anyways, that's nothing to do with this. I'm not taking away points or anything. But like I said, my notes are all over the place. But yeah, Halle, just a great performance. And just, it's one of those characters, it's more drawn out. She has more screen time. You get to know the character, her first meeting with John and that. And it just, I don't know if she felt more challenged or something, but just a great performance. And it's like, well, I have enough lines in this. Unlike her character Storm, she's fine in the role, but her character just was never the focus or anything. Not saying, she wasn't good or anything, but she wasn't given a lot of screen time in that. When they say, without rules, we're like the animals. Now you wonder, well, what does John think of that now that he has a dog? And, of course, his old dog, too, but I wonder if in 4 he'll be like, you say that, but what about my dog, man? What's wrong with being a dog? John, calm down. Mark Dacakis, great to see him in this. I've been a fan since Double Dragon 31 years ago. Great to see him in Cradle to the Grave. Just a fantastic performance. And it's always great to see him in movies. That guy is just lightning fast. And I think another character, just like Perkins and Ares, Ruby Rose's character in the second one, I would have saved him for the 4th one. Or just left him alive for a spin-off. But great fight scenes, great fights with John at the end, and whatever that tower setup was, the glass tower. And even their back and forth in that when they get to the Continental. And he's like, by the way, John, I'm a fan. I couldn't wait to meet you. And I like that. Because again, everything with the rules in that, and John gets to the hotel, puts his hand on one of the steps, I believe, and it's like, safe. But they both honor it. And I like that kind of like, I heard about you. I was always very interested in you, and I'll try and make this quick. But the dog and gunfight, when John and Sophia are getting to the vehicles and that, the cinematography is amazing. And I wish all the action scenes were like that, because there were some, like, the way the DP, the director of photography, moves the camera in this, like in this action sequence specifically, that just all the choreography, everything, how everything was staged in that, it was really well done. When John's out in the desert, I like that because no matter where you put John, everything is. It's not like, oh, this doesn't work or this doesn't fit with anything. No, Keanu, like I said in my review of the first movie, I mean, one of our generation's greatest character actors. Because he just gets into roles and you're like, okay, he's John Wick. Even though you know it's him, Keanu. But the desert thing I like because you're like, well, what's going to happen? I mean, obviously, once he collapses, it's like, well, okay, he's not going to find them. The finger chop, ooh. Just like Gianna cutting her wrists in the second one, it's like, I didn't even consider that. That was pretty brutal. A while back, I wasn't really doing a deep dive, but my recommendations on YouTube have popped up in the ending of the first Saw movie. And I was like, there's no way I'm watching a guy saw off his leg or any body part. That's something, I don't know, it's just too disturbing in that. Despite characters getting pencils in the eyes and stabbed through the head and that, it's still brutal, but then of course I recommend all the other Saw movies and I'm like, oh no, there's some stuff. Like you have to watch Three Stooges before you go to sleep, so that's the last thing you remember. But the finger thing was pretty brutal. I'd never even heard of that happening. And this is in theaters, but again, I'm so late to the game. But I think Winston refers to him as that Baba Yaga. I was like, okay, I'd stick with the boogeyman because I don't think anybody else referenced the Baba Yaga moniker. Again, great setup for the high table, especially in this one. Let's see, Asia Dillon as the Jeez, how do you pronounce that? Adjudicator? Her character, oh my gosh. I wrote it down and I can't. But anyways, her character, representative of the high table. Sorry for that. I was just blanking on how to pronounce that. Adjudicator? I don't know. I'm sure I'll watch it back and be like, oh, okay. But great performance, like nothing over the top. And I don't know what happens to her in 4, but her presence in this was just, the performance and just place in this is just perfect. Because again, like I talked about in 2, it's all about choices, consequences, rules. But threatening character in that you don't know, like, well, what's she capable of? If you take a shot at her, what's going to happen? So maybe we'll see in 4. Let's see. I did like, because remember I said in the second one with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's like, they don't take jabs at the Matrix or anything, or references. But in this one, John, what do you need? Guns. Lots of guns. It's like, okay, that's perfect. Because it's like, well, he does need guns. He needs weapons. And that quote, because it's not mocking the Matrix trilogy. Yes, I said trilogy. The 4th one kind kind of like The Godfather Part 3. It's like, oh no, it exists. It's just we don't really talk about it, It doesn't come to Thanksgiving or anything. But that I really liked. And Parabellum, yeah, prepare for war, Latin. I'm glad they mentioned that because I was drawing a blank. I don't know if that was a character's name or something to do with the high table. And boy, I know one of the things my dad appreciates is accuracy with weapons, because he said a movie in the past and it's like, well, that didn't come out until later. Or that didn't have that on it. And this one, it's like, well, John reloads a lot. Because, in the handguns, you only have so many shots. Where in some movies, it's like, well, 13 bullets and you had, 8 in the chamber? But more like John Wick Reloaded, am I right? Matrix Reloaded reference. Never mind. But I was starting to get annoyed. I'm like, geez, it's one of those, like a video game. It's like, just set it to infinite ammo. No reload. Just keep shooting. But I'm not taking away points or anything. Let's see. At the end, there's the meeting with Winston and Asia's character. When they kind of have like a timeout and that, and they meet and try to settle things. When Winston shot John, I was like, well, I know he's setting something up because he knew where to shoot him on his suit. Because if he really wanted him dead, he would have just shot him in the head. But that fall was pretty brutal. But again, John, it's like, what does this guy eat? What supplements are you taking, dude? Because when she goes down to the street, she says he's gone. It's like, wow, that's a quick recovery. But still well done, but I wasn't surprised. I was like, well, he wouldn't kill Winston. Winston wouldn't kill him. But one thing, and I'm not taking away points for this because I still haven't watched 4, but I was wondering, because in the second one, so Santino and his sister Gianna are dead. So who would that seat go to at the high table? But I'm sure I'll find out in 4. Everything in Casablanca shot beautifully, really well done. And one thing I like about this, I think I touched on this in the last episode, but just all the different locations, all the sets, keeps everything fresh. You keep moving John around in that. Because there's nothing boring about New York. You could certainly go to other, regions in that and find new locations. But I like that these movies never feel stale. And let's see, IMDb, the current score is 7.4, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I really like the action in this one. And of course the story, because it's a great balance, because it's about John, like he got his revenge mission done with. But these movies after that do a great job of setting up like everything, with the Continental, with this agency, high table, and a great balance. And then you have John, of course, who doesn't get lost. As far as like, wait, do we need to cut back to John? What was he just doing? Like, just great pacing in that. And I don't have any notes about like any pacing issues. It's like all the run times, like I read the fourth one is just under 3 hours, but first 1 hour 35, second one was a little bit longer, and then this one, but it's all necessary. Like there's no scenes I would take out or anything. All the conversations are necessary, and just a great balance. So pacing 5 out of 5, story 5 out of 5. Another great cast, so 5 out of 5. And yeah, the cinematography. There's so much good stuff in here. And just checking over my notes again, because I didn't have a lot of, not problems, but a lot of, issues or anything with this movie. I forgot to mention Angelica Houston is the director. Great performance. Every time I see her, I think back to that movie, The Witches. I don't know if I could ever watch that again. I think I saw it when I was too young, because that came out 91, I want to say. So I was about 7 or 8. But great performance from her as the director. And curious if we'll see her in the 4th one. Pretty brutal. They did, the knife through the hands. And then, of course, Fishburne's character, the Bowery King, whatever he's called. The 7 slashes, I thought he'd killed him. Because from afar, you couldn't tell how deep those cuts were. But it was great to see him and John reunited at the end. And like I said with John, it's like we don't know what he eats in that. How do he recover so fast? Because he's very quick. But all the injuries, it's like, good gosh, how are you not in a hospital in a coma? But in the end, he took that fall and got picked up in a shopping cart and dropped off. I like that. But, with the 4th one being just under 3 hours, like I said, I want to see, because I don't know if John's going to be able to pose as someone to get Santino's spot in the high table, what would have been Gianna's. And then Fishburne's character, what's going to happen with him. But just a great setup. Just perfect pacing in that, because everything, it's like, oh, that makes sense. And like I said in, I think the review for the first movie, rather, I'm a big fan of the Fast and Furious movies, because those, they keep going back. But, from like 6 on, I'd say, it's more about like, consequences in that. More so than ever, because obviously, they're always being chased in that, but about, revenge, consequences in that. And they're like, well, this leads to that, and this person's family's coming after you. And Dom, he knows, he's been to different places in that, and it all makes sense. But what I like about these movies, John Wick, with Sophia, when she mentions her daughter, and whatever John did to help get her out of something or save her, like, there you go. That's good for a spin-off, and it doesn't take away from the narrative or anything. Like, wait, what are they meeting about? Her daughter? No, it's very clear. We got to get to this location and that. But I'm going to give this one, it's funny, I jump up like a full 10 points. 8.5 out of 10. And just like the others, I don't know when I'll see this one again. It's not something I'm in a rush to see. It's a great movie, but... And I gotta say this before watching 4. One problem is redundancy. Because, Keanu, very good at fighting in that, and all the gun showdowns in that. The gunplay, whatever you want to call it. But it's like the Wick roll slam with the bad guys in that. It's like, okay, there's quite a few in this one. And then the headshots, it's like, well, it's nothing new. But like I said before, I've watched the fight scenes. At least one from every one. And the one in the 4th one against the high table with Scott Adkins' character. I mean, that guy, even in that big suit, I mean, he could still move. So I was really impressed by that. But everything with Mark's character, Zero, the fights with him and his henchmen and that were really well done. And I'm not saying all the fights are the same. Again, this one, 8.5 out of 10. It's my favorite so far because overall, it's like it had the best from the first and second. So second one had the best intro, but still in this one, I mean, all the fights in the beginning in that, and John Wick on a horse and making it cool. But I'm glad that Chad directed all these, because you keep the character the same. Because another director might come in and be like, well, now John's doing one-liners, you know? Did somebody order a kick in the ass? Gets his fists up. Step into my office. And you're like, what? But you just worry about stuff like that, because different directors have different visions. That's why this Star Wars sequel trilogy didn't really work. It's kind of like, well, the first one sets the tone, sets up all the characters. The second one is great on its own, but it just doesn't fit. It's a puzzle piece, and you're like, this doesn't go with the other two. Are you sure about this? And maybe not a great example, but it's just some people will be like, well, no, now John's, going to be funny. Like, he's having a good time. It's like, no, you keep him the same in every movie. That's why it works. Like, he never seems satisfied. And the fact that he wants to live on to remember his wife in that. I should have written that down. That's one of the sweetest things ever. Because once you're dead, it's like, well, you can't think about her. That might be, gosh, for me that's up there with great power comes great responsibility. And not that it was really maybe you wouldn't take it out in quote form, but it's just so sweet. Because you want to keep on going so you can remember her in that. Just like in the first one, we weren't sure if he was going to die. When he crashes the SUV, gets out, and then in his final moments, so we thought, he's watching the video of his wife, and it's like, I mean, that's love. But let me know what you think of John Wick 3 Parabellum. And I like how it sets up 4, again at the end with John and the King meeting up. Because I don't know what Fishburne's character is going to do. Help heal him. I mean, John, after falling through all that glass, now I know he had that suit on, but I don't know if the pants had any protection on him. As far as, bulletproof armor and that. But you figure he'd have chunks of glass just all over. And the fact that, one of his eyes was all red and that, it's like, okay, that's not bad though. I mean, you should be dead. Certainly not John Wick, huh? Oh, what did I write that? But, well, another thing, this doesn't take away any points, but because I'm sure in the fourth movie, he's going to have more help, there'll be more people. It seems that wherever John goes, whatever situation, it's becoming like almost too convenient. Because again, like the action thing with the fights, with, the roll slam and the headshots. And it just depends how you set up, because again, in the beginning, with him and Sophia, when they're escaping that place, getting to the vehicle, the way that's shot is brilliant. But it's kind of like, well, take me to see this person, and they can get me in with that person. And it doesn't get confusing or anything, it doesn't ruin the plot at all, but it's just like, what would he be like with absolutely no help? No contacts or anything. But just thinking out loud, it doesn't ruin anything, but I wonder in the fourth one, it'd be like, take me to see them. They can get me to this place and then to the high table. It's like, John, I understand your history. You have a lot of contacts in that, but dang. But anyways, like, follow, share, subscribe, rate, comment. Love to hear from you. You can stream this episode for free on YouTube and SoundCloud. You can also download it for free. And up next, I'll be reviewing 4. So I can't wait to watch it, everything with the high table. But thanks again for listening. And I will see you next time.